and welcome to Party Academy Student News. Hi, my name is Mason Vaughn LaFernie. On December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor was attacked by Japan. Through earlier code-breaking activity, the Americans had determined that an attack was likely to occur. However, while the Americans failed to discover Japan's target location, it was believed that the Philippines was the most likely target. At 6:05, December 7th, the 6 Japanese carriers launched the first wave of 183 aircraft, composed mainly of dive bombers. Then, at 3:42 Hawaiian time, the Minesweeper Condor spotted a midget submarine periscope southwest of the Pearl Harbor entrance buoy and alerted the destroyer ward. A United States Naval Institute analysis of photographs from the attack, conducted in 1999, indicated a midget submarine may have successfully fired a torpedo into West Virginia. Japanese forces received a radio message from a midget submarine at 1:41 December 8th, claiming damage to more large war vessels inside Pearl Harbor. The submarine's final disposition is unknown, but she did not return to her mother sub. The Japanese hit American ships and military installations at 7:51. The first wave attacked military airfields of Fort Island. This attack was a surprise because we thought no one would come attack us being so far away from everyone else. The attack on Pearl Harbor also made the USA join World War II.
It's beautiful, Mason.
Fun fact: the Japanese aerial torpedoes were composed with wooden caps and wooden fins to make them float better so that they wouldn't hit the bottom of the bay whenever they were tossed down into the ocean to go hit the ships of the American Navy. Which president was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963? Was it A, Abraham Lincoln, B, James A. Garfield, C, John F. Kennedy, or D, William McKinley? You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was C, John F. Kennedy.
Today in history, 50 years ago, one of the most well-known presidents was assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald. John Fitzgerald Kennedy was the 35th President of the United States. President Kennedy was fatally shot while traveling with his wife and some friends in a presidential motorcade.
The Warren Commission searched for the suspect for 10 months in 1963 to 1964. The suspect, Lee Harvey Oswald, was killed by Jack Ruby before Oswald could stand his trial. The Warren Commission concluded that Kennedy was probably assassinated as a result of conspiracy. Kennedy was assassinated at the Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. Kennedy's motorcade was taking him to a luncheon. The White House planned a 45-minute time slot for the motorcade to reach the Dallas Trade Mart. A planned arrival time was 12:15. At 12:29, President Kennedy's uncovered limousine entered the Dealey Plaza and First Lady Nellie Connolly turned around and said to Mr. Kennedy, "Mr. President, you cannot say that Dallas does not love you." As the motorcade continued down Elm Street, shots were fired and a clear majority of witnesses heard the shots. When one of the shots was fired, it entered the rear of President Kennedy's head. After he was shot, Mrs. Kennedy was yelling, "They have shot my husband and his brains are in my hands." Mrs. Kennedy jumped to the back of the limo to grab a piece of his skull. The driver then speeded quickly to Parkland Memorial Hospital. The nurses and doctors at the hospital observed his wound and called it moribund, meaning he had no chance of surviving. The president's personal physician, Dr. Berkeley, signed President Kennedy's death certificate. The state funeral took place in Washington, D.C. during the 3 days that followed the assassination. John F. Kennedy will always be remembered as a great president, and his legacy will continue on forever.
And now, for a shout-out extra credit. What musical instrument was played by Bill Clinton? Was it A, a saxophone, B, a clarinet, C, a flute, or D, a trumpet. You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was A saxophone. And now, for our last story. It comes from Arkansas, and it is about the only president who has ever come from that state.
President Bill Clinton took the oath of office on January 20th, 1993. He was the 42nd president as well as the third youngest president. He was born William Jefferson Life III, but he adopted the surname Clinton at 15. His full name is William Jefferson Clinton. He was a skilled musician as he played the saxophone. Clinton earned a Rhodes Scholarship to attend the University of Oxford, although he went to and graduated from Georgetown University. Shortly after being elected, Clinton signed the Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993 on February 5th, which required large employers to allow employees to take unpaid leave for pregnancy or serious medical condition. He was impeached for perjury and obstruction of justice involving a White House intern, but was acquitted by the Senate and served a complete term. Clinton passed a Don't Ask, Don't Tell law which allowed gays and lesbians to serve in the military if they didn't tell anyone, and no one had the right to ask. He was also the first Democrat to be elected since FDR to a second term.
Before we go, we have a short, funny video to show you guys. Attitude about this video. No cats were harmed.
That was amusingly perfect.
I bet that cat will turn out to be a cat robot.
That's all for today.
On Harding Academy Student News.
Don't forget to leave your feedback.